Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday to everybody. I am your host, Coupon Therapy, and I am coming. I just want to come in and talk. Ooh, hold on, man. And I'm coming. Hold on one moment. Sorry about that. I'll probably have to edit the first part of the video, honey. Every single time I go to try to do one of these videos, um, somebody calls, somebody comes in the room, something happens. This is crazy. First of all, I'd like to say rest in peace to a dear, dear, dear friend of mine who, unfortunately, right before I started this video, which is, one of the reasons why I was delayed. Not all the reason, but, I found out that she passed away last night. So rest in peace to her. And to anybody else who's lost loved ones, I've suffered a couple great losses here recently, and it's not easy. So my prayers are with you guys. Um, and so that kind of leads us into the story that I want to discuss today. The title of the video is the mysterious case of D4VD, or David Burke, who is a young up and coming, I don't know if they want to say R&B artist or whatever. He started out as a gamer, and then he kind of fell into, stardom, into Hollywood, into all those things by going live viral with his songs on TikTok and everything. I have a couple videos that I want to go over that'll tell us a little bit more about David and his relationship with Celeste and all that. But it's very interesting. Like, I have not seen it. There has not been a case. I am a true crime buff, right? I love everything true crime. My TV stays on like 48 hours, chasing criminals, Dateline, something all day long, 24/7, especially since it streams on the internet all day right now. So, used to be back in the day, it would be like the Law and Order marathons. On the weekend, honey, I would live for those. TV never changes off the Law and Order marathon. However, this case here is like absolutely, I don't know, it has like the mystery, the intrigue. There's Hollywood involved. There's a lot of innuendos, a lot of speculation. But there are some things now, since the law enforcement and the internet buffs and sleuth, which are great, right? The internet detectives are the best. They have found out that they have found a lot of information out so far. Even though everything that I will say that be said or shown in this video is alleged, and that David is and it's everybody else, in great United States, is innocent until proven guilty, no matter how slanted the evidence is piling up, right? And I will say that it is piling up, and it doesn't look good. However, it gives us an eerie feeling, some of the things that transpired in hindsight, right? He has I think one of his popular songs is called like Romantic Homicide. He talks about how he killed, his love interest. And I believe it was pretty clear like that he would like honor the name Celeste, the date, her birth date, September 7th, which is another eerie thing, right? Like they found her body, I believe, on like September the 8th, a day after her birthday. And she would have turned 15. So I'm assuming she would have passed away when she was 14, because they said her body was badly decomposed. So who knows if that's like badly decomposed for days or badly decomposed for weeks, right? However, it's just also mysterious. Not only that, he also has a very popular, in that same popular song, I believe they say that he talks about putting a body in the trunk and um, just really, really weird stuff. This relationship, this story is going to entail a lot of things. Grooming, right? It's going to expose some of those like Discord things, those games. First of all, let me say this: if any of my viewers had minors, and I would strongly suggest that you keep a tight monitor on the internet access, right? Those games, Roblox, Fortnite, you would be surprised how many weirdos, grown ups are in there playing with these children. So you really, really, really need to monitor who you, what your children are consuming, right? And because as I look at this whole story, one thing that popped out to me was that the consumption, the type of materials that these children were glorifying was just horrendous. Hi, Rodney. Hi, honey. Stop. Thank you. I didn't mean stop. I mean, thank you for clicking on the video and commenting. Thank you so much. Rodney Devo in the building. Anyway, so the consumption of material and the type of material that these young people are, or anybody, it's the human brain, period, right? Anybody, any age group, if you consume a certain level of thing, it desensitizes us, right? And it makes it easier when other things come along for us to be amenable to it because we're used to certain things, right? These children are glorifying gore and blood and murder, but like all supposedly in the mind. But then you get this case, right? And it seemingly seems like a lot of the things that were in his songs are playing out. And then I believe it's obvious, although, listen, I wasn't there. I don't know. All of this is alleged. At the very least, it seems like David had an inappropriate relationship over the span of a few years, right? According to the information that we have received per the internet, per Discord, per their mutual friends, Celeste's family, and things like that, right? At the very least, they had an inappropriate relationship, whereas he was older than her. And they initially met in like a private chat room for Fortnite or Discord or something like that, right? So I said all that to say we absolutely need to be careful, whether you have grandchildren, children, nieces, anybody. Like, back in the day, everybody's kids was everybody's kids, and we all looked out for one another. But this is the new type of monster that we're going, because it's invisible. All of our kids are online. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has access, but you don't know who's on that other end. And unfortunately, this is a situation where we had a young girl that was that actually turned into a runaway, right? And she ended up losing her life. However, I feel like this situation plays out across America every single day. These other young girls do not get the media attention, of course, because this one happens to just involve a Hollywood star, and it's got all this, mystery to it and everything like that. However, this is a thing that's happening on the internet every single day. This isn't an isolated case, and we need to stay vigilant with our children, and even with ourselves. There are people getting catfished, and I'm talking about grown folks. So you just don't know, and I just want to admonish everyone to just be very careful and be very mindful of what you're consuming on this internet, honey, because sometimes it can play out in real life, and it's not good. But however, okay, so I want to go over a couple of videos with y'all to catch up, because I've seen some things, but I think now that it's been out, people have been doing some investigations that some of the story is getting pieced together. So far, what we do know, and what we don't know, right? And I'm kind of feeling like with all the stuff going on, I hope this isn't a case where, it's like all this evidence and it's painfully obvious, but they don't have enough evidence to pin it on a person because so much time has went by. The body's decomposed. Like the coroner does not even have hasn't determined her cause of death yet. So that could be another problem. I'm sure they're waiting on the toxicology reports. There's been a lot of theories thrown around, like, because they're in a situation where they say they were doing a lot of partying at the mansion that, mind you, this young man was staying in a mansion that was in a house, mansion house, whatever, that was $20,000 a month for rent. And then we had this young girl who, has run away from home, and obviously she's mixing with these crowds some kind of way, pretending they're perpetrating her to be older. Whether David knew her age or not, I don't know. Allegedly, he did, right? There was some signs because he's been talking to this girl since she was about 12 years old. 12 years old. Anyway, TMZ did a great breakdown of it. So I want to go over a little bit of that video. And then there's another video that kind of goes over it. And let's look at that and try to catch up and see exactly what they've been able to piece together in this case so far. So let me see if I can share the screen. Okay, this is going to be a video that Harvey Levin from TMZ did. Okay.
The Two Angry Men podcast. Mark, the biggest story in the TMZ universe right now is David, the singer who had a Tesla, or who has one, and the body of this girl, a 14-year-old girl, Celeste Rivas, was found in the trunk. The car was parked on a busy residential street. It was towed. The tow yard found the body, and the LAPD is in the middle of this wild investigation. We have a lot of information. I have been waiting all week to talk to you. I want to throw things at you and get your take on this.
Please do. Are you going to start with the fact that the medical examiner in LA has not, as normal, because they haven't done the tox screen yet, but hasn't released a full report at this point?
Here's why I'm not really surprised.
Okay.
TMZ is turning 20
Okay,
next month.
and mind you guys,
in the 20 years we've done.
Let me say this, and I think he's going to hit on this too, Harvey Levin. But how we're reviewing their video, so we got to talk about it. We got to, kind of stop in between and break it down. Some kind of way, when the car was towed to the lot and it was revealed, some kind of way there was a smell or something, they opened the trunk, they found the body. Some kind of way TMZ got a little a tip that it was her. Now that is crazy, right? Like, out of all things, first of all, I want to know who gave TMZ the tip. Like, who put the two and two together? Because the police didn't know who she was. Her parents didn't know, like, it was her. They gave the police the parents' phone number. Like, that in itself is a mystery, right? Or right, was somebody trying to drop a dime on David? Like, all this stuff was not going on. I just don't feel like everything was able to be hidden. You know what I mean? Especially him being so famous, having so many people around all the time. Some people are starting to come out and talk about it, but it is just, this whole case is just super weird, right? Then come to find out, how about this? There is two Celeste, right? One of them is an older Celeste. And when I mean older, I mean like over 18, right? She's probably, I don't know, she's legal, but I don't think she's like my age or anything. And she sometimes goes by Cece, but they look so similar, like same prototype girl, light skin and curly hair, all that. And then there's the Celeste. And I'm just like, did he find another Celeste to kind of play off of anytime? This is so weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mind, I am like You know what I'm saying? When it comes to history. So I instantly got to thinking when I started to see that, and it was confirmed that it really was two girls named Cece, and they would be around each other at the same time sometimes, and sometimes not, right? And I'm thinking, is that a coincidence? Honey, I don't believe in no coincidences. I hardly ever believe in coincidences. But some things are coincidental. I don't think, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see how this plays out. And it is so many things. This is one case. It's not just this thing. As we continue to listen, you're gonna hear a lot of things that are just weird. It's like how many things had to line up all together, you know, in the universe for this to have happened and for the young man not to be guilty, right? I'm not saying that he did it, because this case is just like creepy enough for him not to have did it. Or who even knows? Like, did she OD? Like, were they doing some type of drugs or whatever, and she had an overdose, and then he didn't know, or somebody didn't know, didn't want to call the police. They panicked because she's overage. She was a runaway. She was on a poster. She had been missing. Who knows? I think the last time her friends were confirming they talked to her was the end of July, beginning of August. It was like the last signs of a life that I think someone could confirm as of now. So it's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know. And the other girl, Celeste, was around, I think, last year too. So I don't know. Maybe he had did he have a stand-in so that if people started to question, oh, you're with that underage girl, he could present the other Celeste and throw people off? Because they were doing a lot of that with the messages, with the, you know, with the tattoos, with the and, you know, and being very quiet and secretive. I do not know, but it is yet to be seen. But it is very, very, very interesting to me. Everything about this case is insane to me. But I'm locked and loaded and I'm listening. So here we go. We'll go back to what TMZ was saying real quick.
Done it. I cannot think of a single case where the LAPD and the medical examiner and other law enforcement agencies in Riverside and other places have played things as close to the vest as they have in this case. And I will tell you, and in fact, let me just tell you a quick story before we get into the evidence, because we have a lot now. The way this came about is they found the body in the trunk, and it was so badly decomposed, possibly cut up, that's unclear, to the point where they couldn't even tell if it was a man or a woman. We got a tip. The police just said that the victim had a tattoo on the right index finger that said SHHH ... We got a tip that it was this girl, Celeste Rivas. We got in touch with her mother, and we talked to the mother, who said, yes, the tattoo was red, and that she had a boyfriend named David. And we're thinking, wait a minute, the car is registered to David. So I called the LAPD. I called robbery homicide, and I called them to give them her number and her name so that maybe this was the girl. And they didn't return my call. And I thought,
wait, when did you call them? What date?
It was around September 5th when this all came out, before they knew who she was. All they said was, we're trying to figure out who it is.
Drop first.
And I thought, well, maybe it's her. So I called LAPD.
Hold on, let me stop. That's the part, right? From the very beginning, this case starts off like, what? Who tipped off TMZ? What person in Hollywood or that knew, you know, this was going to be a big thing and sent it to TMZ instead of just going to the LAPD, right? Who decided to drop the dime and make this a thing? Because if someone knew the identity of this young girl, logic would tell you would contact the police, right? But they go around that. They go to a popular tabloid news program, whatever, Hollywood media outlet, right? And then and make this a thing, right? Because like I said, this happens a lot in America with all the things, with schmex, African, and all the things that happen. All the things are the things, right? So that's where it starts. Like, it starts from the very beginning. And so you're like, oh, he did it. But it's like, is this a setup? Like, Hollywood is crazy, right? Like the antennas in the back of my mind are wondering, who called TMZ instead of calling the LAPD? I don't know. Let's keep listening. It's just like, what? Okay, let's keep listening.
And I think what they thought was I was just trying to get information, so they didn't call me back.
Right.
So I call them the next day, and this is no disparagement to robbery homicide, but they were annoyed that I was even calling. And I said, guys, I want to give you something. And I told them, and when I said that she had the tattoo and it was red, I could hear something because they hadn't released that it was red. And
it was red yet.
And I just
and
heard.
By the way, at what point since September 5th, because you mentioned something that's fascinating to me, it's been reported that the body was dismembered. It's been reported that it was in there for a while. I don't believe, based on what I've seen so far, that you can make a definitive or draw a definitive conclusion at this point, absent some pathologist going in there and actually trying to discern whether it's a dismemberment or it's just part of the decomposition process.
I was having that exact discussion with somebody 5 minutes ago. So I hear you. So look, we left the information, we gave them the information, and that was the last we heard of them. They have been so locked down in such an unusual way. And I'm just going to say it, that
why do you attribute that to?
I don't know. We have sources that normally are available to us. Nobody's available. I mean,
Well, I was going to say, don't take this the wrong way, but TMZ, as you mentioned, is almost 20 years old or is 20 years old. You've had a very robust relationship with the LAPD over those 20 years. So it is strange for me, at least, based on what I've seen over the years, that they have clammed up over this. And that's why I'm asking, you've got to have a gut on that.
Yeah, my gut, look, okay, here, let me lay it out on what we have, and then we can talk about it, because I'm telling you, a lot of people think David is the guy who did this. And I know that, and there is evidence, I think, that points that way, but I think there's evidence that points in a different way too. So let me tell you.
So listen, even TMZ, right? They're like, it's a little wacky, because they got the drop. They shared the information with the LAPD, and then radio silence, right? So we don't know who's cooperating, who's anything, but even like the tabloid and Harvey Levin can't break the seal on this case, right? So we are all being left to speculate, but we're just making, the best use of the information that we have. And because this case has a lot of loopholes, a lot of twists and turns. However, we're going to see it all the way through, but I just wanted to point that out, that TMZ is even stumped. So it's a mystery.
What we know. So David owned the car, and the body was found in the car. We also know from people we've spoken with and photographs we have that there is a real connection between David, who was 20, and Celeste, who was 14 when she died. And that we have talked to people who were around them, went to parties with them, and that they assumed they were boyfriend, girlfriend. Celeste, who had run away from home, presented herself like she was 18 or 19. She had multiple fake IDs. And the people at the various parties, when they found out she was the victim, they were stunned. They thought, my God, she had apparently passed herself off as being a USC student. So they thought she was an adult. They couldn't believe that she was 14 years old. So there is that.
Can I ask a question? Did you ask the people who were at the parties who claimed to know her whether or not she was ingesting or?
Okay, so here we go. Listen, guys, look at this. Look at this young lady right here. This is at a time that when she was still alive, but no more than 13 or 14 years old. Listen, comment down below in the comments if you believe that this young lady looks like she's 19 or could pass for a college student. It's hard to tell. I mean, but you're in Hollywood, you're in these big circles. People are not really questioning a lot of things. Hey, that's his girlfriend. She's 19. They're probably not really paying. It seemed like a lot of people didn't pay her a lot of attention. I don't know if that was on purpose. Like he kept her purposely like seen but not seen type of thing. But in like this photo and a lot of the other photos I've seen of the young lady Celeste, she definitely gives young, not 19, not 20, not 21 years old to me. But hey, comment below what you guys think. I'm interested to know because there's so many facets of this case. No one's been arrested for her unaliving as of yet. However, I am also a little baffled as to why he at least has not been arrested for, indecency of a minor, corruption of a minor. There's like a gamut of charges, okay, that would apply in this situation, in my opinion. I mean, I guess I wasn't there. No one can confirm whether they actually were active or not. However, at least harboring a runaway, right? At the very least, there's some charges in there. However, a lot of times, they will forego, the police, will forego rushing an investigation so that they can get all the information. So I hope that's what's happening here. Just because no one has been named or arrested yet does not mean that they don't have evidence. They're probably just trying to build a strong case. And, in light of the young lady no longer being with us, I would guess that the runaway charges or the statutory rape charges or whatever would be secondary to these charges because they're more serious. I just feel like I've heard a lot of people talking about that. I understand it's a public outcry. People want to see justice for this young lady, as do I. But we also want a case that is going to stick, right? It's better for them to take their time, make sure they're getting all the evidence, so that when they go to court, they'll be able to have a strong case. Because it seems like this may come down to a case of circumstantial evidence. Because I don't even know, you know what I'm saying? Because the body was hidden or tucked away for so long, there wasn't a direct crime scene that they have to find out where it is, what happened, the who, what, when, where, and why. And it is after the fact. So I feel like those cases take a lot more time. They have to interview more people. They're going to have to find somebody to crack the case. Probably going to be witness testimony. That's going to be a lot in this case as well. Friends, what people saw, what was said to who, as far as the timeline. Because even now, David went on tour, right? He was on tour, not even in the same city when the car was found. So that puts, a layer of reasonable doubt there as a defense. I don't know what happened. I was on tour, but we don't know when she actually passed. So that's why the case is probably going to be harder, because the coroner is going to have to figure out a way to show time of death and cause of death if possible. So far, I think it's indeterminate, the cause of death. Sometimes, they have cases where they'll say undetermined homicidal violence type of thing. Like, we know this person was, brutally, deleted. However, the actual ways we're unsure of. So there's ways they can go around that. However, I just don't know, because I kind of feel like with all the different stories, how much of her body, like how was the decomposition? Because there's a part in decomposition after death where the body is called slippage, right? And like the skin will start to slip off the bones. And um, I'm sorry if I'm being graphic, but listen, this is a serious situation. People need to be aware of what's going on. You need to protect your children, protect yourself, and know that evil is out there. Good morning, Nihat. How did David meet Celeste? Okay, so allegedly, David met Celeste in an online gaming forum, or on an online forum like BandLab or something, right? I have a video that will further explain that, but I'm have to give commentary as well, because for copyright purposes. But I do have a video. We are going to review that, how they actually met. But just to kind of sum it up, from what I gathered, he was like playing Fortnite in a gaming forum. Then he started making music and going to like BandLab. The kids started liking it. She was one of the children that was in there listening. They made a connection some kind of way, moved it to a private chat. They became a thing. We don't know. People are speculating it could have been as early as when she was 11. She literally just turned 15 on September the 7th, the day before I believe the car was found or taken to the tow yard. So September the 7th was when she turned 15. This relationship dates back to at least 2024 or the end of 2023. Because we know in 2024, she first ran away in January or February, and they found her in the Hollywood Hills, close to where where David resides. Then she went back home, but then she ran away again. And ever since she ran away again, April, May of 2024-ish, she's been missing. And it's speculating that ever since that time, so the first time they found her, the second time she ran away, they obviously did not find her, or I don't know if anybody looked. I don't know what the situation was, but yeah, they didn't find her. So that's how they met, on an online gaming forum, and through music online, in forums where there's a Reddit group about this. And there's been a David, I don't know if it's David or like the group they're in, but I've seen a lot of Reddit clips from years ago. Not like just now, but there's Reddit posts and messages. I don't know what you call the Reddit things, but from years ago about David and Celeste. So I guess as he was up and coming, I guess you made it when you get a Reddit or something. I don't know. These kids have a lot of things going on these days. But that's how they met. So she met him when he was already famous. Sorry, my English is medium. I'm French and I'm improving. Oh, no, you're fine. I think she met him on his come up, kind of. So he became famous in 2022. So it's now 2025. So approximately 3 years ago. Well, I don't think he became famous right away, but it kind of took. So it was 2022. He was playing Fortnite. And actually, let's see. We may have a video of how David started. Let's see. I seen something out there. But yeah, so around that time, and when he was in there trying to do, make his own music and playing Fortnite, other kids were in there. They started a Discord, and she joined the Discord server. So I believe he was they had noticed him, which is how she ended up in the same group with him. So, and I think that's coming up. I don't know which video that is, but I think it's coming up. I'm going to play just a little bit more of the TMZ, because they give a good timeline coming up of how this happened. And this will catch us all up on sort of like a timeline up until now. And then I have another video that will go into kind of some more intricacies. This case is really crazy, right? And all we're doing is speculating. Everything I'm saying is alleged, But I'm interested. I want to know what's going on. It seems interesting to me, and so I just wanted to share that with y'all while I'm looking. So we'll discover it together. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see what Harvey got to say. The rest of it.
Number one, they have canvassed all surveillance cameras in the area so that they can try to pinpoint when that car was parked there. It's amazing how robust surveillance cameras, cameras themselves are in the society we live in. So they've done that. They're going to see if they can determine who was driving that car when it gets there. They've already, I guarantee you, obtained the cell phone records. If she had a mobile phone, even if she had a burner phone, if they found that, they've got his cell phone records. So they're going to be able to triangulate roughly where he was, when, and what time. And then they've also got the ME taking a look at the remains and trying to figure out, and this is really where it's a difficult task because of temperature, because of where it was, and the remains. They're going to try to pinpoint a date or a rough time period of death. Cause of death is going to be as difficult, if not more difficult than that as well.
Right. Now, a couple of other things that they're getting. And I think this is going to be critical. Teslas have cameras all over, and that they have clearly subpoenaed Tesla to get all of the video and any photographs, but certainly video. They should be able to see who placed the body in the Tesla. That, to me, is going to be the smoking gun. That will lead them, not necessarily to who killed her, if she was killed at all. And again, she may have died of a drug overdose, for all we know. But they're going to see who put her in that Tesla. My guess is they've already gotten that. I would think Tesla's already.
I agree. I think I don't know what kind of robust wall that they've got in terms of records, but I guarantee you that they have a few things you can guarantee in life. But they've got surveillance or internal video that shows who put her in. And by the way, that also gives you the date of the placement in the trunk, what kind of condition the person was, at least that you can see from the video. It does not necessarily tell you time of death. And by the way, if it appears from the video that this was somebody who was placed in there that was unconscious or may have already passed away, all that will do is at least give you an outer limit of time to kind of reverse engineer the time of death.
Yeah. Now, the one other thing that they're getting, his manager from Interscope rented that house, which was very close to where the car was found. And that house has lots and lots of security cameras outside. I know the police wanted to get it. We found out that the owner of the house, when he leased it, told the tenant, "You are in control of the security cameras." The owner had no access because the owner didn't want to look like he was snooping on them. So whether the tenants agree or not, they are clearly have already subpoenaed the security company, because that's going to be really relevant. Was she in that house? I mean, they've done a search of the house. They seem to think so because they did a luminol test in the house. So those security cameras may show somebody taking a body out of the house and putting it in the Tesla. So those two things, to me, are going to be really critical. Now, a lot of people
And
think.
by the way, they probably already have. By the way, since they did the search of the house, they've already got search warrants, or they've got a judge there who's made probable cause determinations. They have clearly done a search warrant for the security company. I would be shocked if they didn't already have the internal cameras, and depending on what kind of the security system it is, the various views and things of that nature. So they're building a timeline,
Okay.
which also is, I think, speaks to, before everybody jumps on the he must be guilty of murder or that this was a murder, there is a telltale sign here that something does not fit in the fact that right? Because otherwise they would have arrested first, because they would have had something that, to your point, is a smoking gun or kind of an irrefutable, let him explain his way out of it piece of evidence.
Yeah. I kind of see this slightly differently.
Tell me.
So some people think David did it. I mean, here he is with her, with this underage girl. Body is in his car. It just smells. But if he would have to be so
the dumbest guy on the planet,
a psychopath that, I'm going
to not even psycho. Psychopaths are not that stupid.
You put the body in your car.
Yeah, I mean,
you put the body in your car and then you go on tour knowing. I lived on Doheny Drive. I lived there. I know the way that works. I lived there for 10 years, and they have street cleaners that come. And I'm sure that the reason they ticketed them, because I know the area, is when the street cleaner comes, you're supposed to move your car. And if they don't, they ticket you. And they had 2 tickets on the car. So they all know the drill there. So he's leaving the car with a body inside, going on tour for a month and thinking, what? Eventually, I guess they'll find the body. No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So
no, and it also makes somebody's going to have to figure out, at least have a coherent theory. If it was not him, then who? And that's, I'm sure, what law enforcement is kind of drilling down on. And when I say that, I mean, somebody would have had to have access to that car. Somebody would have had access to the lock on that car, and somebody who placed it in there, even if they're in some kind of disguise because they're aware of the fact that Tesla has a system that would pick them up, they still would have to. How is that going to throw anybody off the trail? Unless there is some. I mean, you can make a couple of arguments. You can say, look, he panicked. She OD'd. She was underage. He thought, oh my God, this comes out, I'm toast. I mean, I was with an underage girl. I should have known better. Blah blah blah. She was a runaway. I should have known that. He has a million different thoughts that are going through his head, and then panics and puts in the car. But why? I mean, that's going to come right back to him. That's going to circle. I mean, you could not get a more flashing "come arrest me" sign than putting somebody that you are involved with in the trunk of your car. And if she was not already deceased, and that causes the death, that doesn't solve anything for you.
I can tell you this. Celeste was found dead in his trunk. Celeste and David were a couple. Celeste was only 14 when she died, most likely. And David is 20, which is not good. So tonight, as I record this, it's Friday, September 26th, and under any circumstances, like any other circumstances, that singer, David, would likely be spending this Friday night exactly the way you would expect for a 20-year-old platinum-selling multimillionaire just coming off a 2-month tour. Think clubs and friends and fans and parties and outfits and music, maybe even one of those regular big old blowouts that the neighbors said happened pretty often in that $20,000 a month mansion that he was living in the Hollywood Hills. But tonight, that party house is dark and it is empty. And it may be a crime scene, right? It certainly was the scene of a raid. And David himself has not been seen in the LA party scene for weeks. He hasn't been heard from publicly either for just as long. And why is that? Because the young dead girl Celeste, who was just yesterday confirmed to be the very same Celeste that the singer once wrote a love song about, she's the same girl he appeared with on live streams. And she's the same girl that he and his friends partied with in LA. Yes, that girl, the same girl he was involved with romantically, even though she was only 14 at the most.
So there, right here, you can see what allegedly is Celeste. People who know her and the people who, know him are confirming that, yes, that's Celeste. That's possibly her, even though she has on a hoodie. So that kind of confirms during the time that she was missing that he at least had contact with her and that they had met in person. So this video confirms that at the very least, he had contact with this minor girl when she was 14 or younger. Because I believe this stream may have been like a year ago. And she's been missing since February, March, April, May 2024. We're in September 2025. So there's a lot of information out here. But that part absolutely shows that, they were in touch with each other. And then he says he media trained her on this particular clip, which, like, what you told her specific stuff not to say, how to hide things that, they had those, she had that SSH, I think is what it is, tattoo like secrecy, things like that. So yeah, at the very least, he knows her, right? And you know what? And someone else also said that I believe her family had gotten a GoFundMe for her funeral, and they were like, "Well, did David donate anything or anything like that?" Now, legally, considering like what's happened, maybe he's been advised by his legal team not to say anything. I don't even think they said he's like issue condolences, right? So like, if you didn't do this or anything, like no statement being made at all. Like, I wish, she was a friend of mine. I knew her. Sorry for the family, prayers up, anything. And he and his family, according to his fans, they say that he, I think he was raised Pentecostal or something like that. So they have a deep religious background. So he knows how to pray, right? They know how to issue condolences, but like nothing, no word. Now, I don't know. I'll leave that out there. I won't really judge that, especially because the legal system because I feel like we don't have a legal judicial system which issues justice. We have a legal system, right? That's just looking for results, just looking for a body to attach to a crime, to meet a quota, to go away. So that's a whole different thing. So him not talking as something as serious as, because honey, if I jaywalked across the street right now and the officer was trying to interrogate me, I would be like, me no speaker. Me no speaker without my lawyer, okay? Because I've seen people like be innocent and talk their way right on into jail. I don't know. It's just weird. Yes, we want justice. So I don't necessarily view that as you're automatically guilty type of thing, because I feel like in one of these cases, everything, when they tell you whatever you say can be used against you in a court of law, they mean everything. Even the stuff that you wasn't thinking about, you was just playing, or you didn't mean it that way type of stuff. So, silence can sometimes save your life, and it's all of our absolute American right to be silent. Good morning, Sagittarius Queen. Hey, honey. Girl, I've been trying. I was trying to go live last night. I could not, for some reason, get my webcam to connect to my computer. I don't know what that was about. I had to troubleshoot it, and then I got it fixed this morning. And it didn't help that something's always coming up anyway. But that's why it ended up taking me so long to hook up the webcam. But anyway, good morning, honey. We're just in here talking about the David and Celeste situation. It is crazy. But anyway, okay, so let's look a little bit. Let me finish this, and then we'll go. And I have another clip that we want to.
Was decomposing in his trunk. It is more than likely, though, that Celeste could have been 12 or 13 when this relationship began with David, when he was 17 or 18. Again, facts that are not good. In this episode, I'm breaking down the very latest details, beginning with the one detail that may have gone unnoticed so far in the story. And I'm going to say it again. David has not been charged with any crime. He has not been named a person of interest. He has not been named a suspect, that's for sure. And all the while, the LAPD has been unusually tight-lipped about this case. But yesterday, that would be September 25th, Chief Jim McDonnell of the LAPD did an interview. And whether it was deliberate or not, he said this.
Certainly, whenever you investigate a homicide, the detectives look at all of the associated issues as well. In this case, that's something that they would be looking at.
Did you catch that? Did you catch the nuance of what he said? Because there were some key words in that sentence, like homicide and quote unquote associated issues. I don't hear associated issues very often, but let's start with homicide, because you probably know, since you're true crime fans, that homicide means death at the hands of another. It does not mean an overdose or an accidental overdose or suicide. It means someone did this to her. That's the first time we're hearing that, right? And as for the associated issues, that certainly could refer to the fact that David's friends confirmed that he was in a romantic relationship with a girl who was only 14. At this point, Celeste's cause and manner of death are listed as deferred. But if victim and boyfriend make up two key parts of this puzzle, the third part has to be the abandoned 2-year-old Tesla, $104,000 Tesla at that, in which the girl's decomposing body was finally found 18 days ago, September 8th. I spoke with a private investigator who specializes in missing persons cases, and he got his hands on the paper trail from the very first ticket that went on the Tesla's windshield to the end of the line at the impound lot. He learned that fed-up neighbors called the police about the car on August the 26th, and an officer came by the next day and left a ticket on the window, because that's what you do. And then a second ticket was issued on September 3rd, and the car was finally towed away on September 5th, 3 days before it became a key piece of evidence in what is now being called a homicide. Steve Fisher is the man behind.
Yeah, those dates are key. So, and people are like, well, nobody was smelling it. I mean, weird things happen. They say they have this like weird system in a Tesla, like vacuum seals, so that no water gets in or anything in the trunk. So maybe it takes longer for decomposition to happen in a Tesla or something like that, or given environmental things. But the heat would make it worse. But I think like the system in the Tesla, I heard that. I don't know if it's true, but it seems at the very least, if the car was ticketed back in August, that she was in the car before then, right? And then I believe that some of her friends, I heard that some of her friends are saying that they can last confirm like actually speaking with her in the end of July. Isn't this crazy? If this would, like, at the very least, if you had been around her all this time and you hadn't talked to her, like, first of all, you haven't checked on your car that's right down the street from your house in weeks. Then you go on right before the car, right after the car starts getting ticketed, you go on a world tour. Where is your girlfriend? Like, even if she, like, oh, I'm not going to take you, you're underage, we don't want to get in trouble, you stay here at the house. You didn't talk to her? You didn't call her? Nothing? Why didn't you take your car home? You just left your car on the street while you're on tour? Was somebody else driving the car? Like, so many freaking questions. And this, it's crazy. It's insane.
Behind that pro bono detective work, and he talked to me earlier on my News Nation show, Banfield. Shout out, 10 o'clock Eastern on News Nation. I do a true crime show every night, and I'm going to play our conversation in just a second. But first, I just wanted to say to you that Atlas and I really do appreciate you being here. It is so important that you are this community. Otherwise, I say it often, I would just be yelling at a blank screen. But the fact that you're here with me, it just makes this almost like a book club, but something more special. And I do really appreciate your support. I could not do this without you. And Atlas and I could not do this without our sponsors either. They're really the ones that make this podcast possible, like Morgan & Morgan.
Moved around a couple different times, but that's going back as far as May. It had been moving around, and from those photos, make sure it hasn't moved because it is legal to park the license plate. They noted
Banfield. Again, that's for the people.
So, it was first called in by a neighbor on the 26th, and the only note that was on it was when they asked for any identifying information besides the license plate, they noted that there was a large dent in the back. And, I was curious that there wasn't an odor mentioned. Now, that doesn't absolutely mean that in the conversation with the agent, they didn't mention that and it just didn't get reported. But, in LA, a traffic officer has to come out at least 3 times before they can tow it. So on 3 different days, they have to chalk the tires, make sure it hasn't moved because it is legal to park on that street. So, as far as what was gathered from that, it was nothing regarding the smell or anything, but for it to get towed from that area, considering there is no parking restrictions, it had to be there quite a while, I think.
Well, let's talk about that, because not only did you get your hands on the towing report with all the information it yielded, but you also knocked on some doors and you found some of the neighbors who indeed knew about that car and knew how long it had been there. What did they tell you?
I talked to someone that, nobody wanted to be on the record, but they said that they believe they're certain the car was there more than a month. There was somebody else that said that the car had moved around a couple different times, but that's going back as far as May. It had been moving around. And, from those photos actually were embedded with the ticket that was taken. So when they provided the ticket on the 3rd, they give images, in case it goes to court and they back it up. They're really high res images. They really zoom into them. And I mean, that dirt is caked on that car. So I think that car got dumped a lot earlier than a lot of us think.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the pictures at the same time you are on screen, and our viewers are seeing it too. One of the things I noticed with the caked on dirt is that you would not have been able to drive it with windshields that caked. It would have been really hard to drive. So, and I'm just so sad when I see this car parked here, because that she's in the trunk in this image, and it's so sad. It's extraordinarily sad. It's not just a parked car that's getting a ticket and getting towed. It's
right. So look at the car. It started getting ticketed August 23rd, 26th, whatever. It actually was towed on September the 7th. And people are like, well, was it moving it after that? Neighbors say, they seen it moved. Like sometimes the car would be parked on the street in a different spot, because this is close to his house, not far from his house, in the Hollywood Hills, a very rich area. So, a Tesla just sitting out there. I'm sure there's a lot of expensive cars that sit out that are in that neighborhood, in that area all the time. So that's not unusual. However, the car actually at some point stopped being moved, I guess, is what is going to be key to this investigation. Like, when did the car become stationary here? How long was it here? What happened since then? And one of the key points that they pointed out is look at when they towed it on September 7th, how thick the dust and dirt is on all the windows. So you can kind of tell it has not been driven because you can't even see out of the windows. But, I mean, that probably happened, I don't know, over a course of weeks. We don't know. And I don't know. And they're still trying to figure out when this young lady died, her time of death and manner of death. But they say that the decomposition was so bad. I think when they first reported it, people were confused because they were calling her body dismembered. But now they're like, they don't believe that she was dismembered. So it probably was just decompensation. And it says like she weighed 71 pounds. She probably at 15, 14, almost 15 years old, weighed more than 71 pounds. But I don't know. But the decomposition probably, you know, she lost weight. It was the water, dehydration. You lose your fluids first in your body. So I don't know. This is going to be crazy. But listen, not having an actual factual time of death is going to be a problem in this case because this young man who has millions of dollars for all these high-powered attorneys is going to try to wiggle out of that. If they do end up indicting him, that's going to be a big thing in this case. It's going to be like, well, if you don't know what time she died, my client was in, you know, Milwaukee, Minnesota, you know, whatever, performing all this time. Even when you found the car, you found the body. Yes, it's his car, but his friends came over and borrowed his car all the time. They all drove the car. They all lived in the house. I mean, this $104,000 car. So David doesn't have any idea how the car got, you know, so even though it just reeks, everything about this case tells you in your gut because he did it. Listen, he wrote a song about this young girl. He wrote a song about killing somebody and putting them in the damn trunk. An actual song, and then did a video to it showing, you know, that. So it's kind of like the art is coming to life real time. But I don't know, you know, innocent until proven guilty. I don't know. But let's finish looking at the car. But look at, if you check it out, all the dust is there.
It's a tomb where a girl had been decomposing, you know, day after day after day. But it's interesting you say a month, but then it's also interesting you see the police came back 3 different times and chopped the tires. What's the protocol for them? Like, why didn't they tow it the first day they were called?
So they're not allowed to tow it unless it's documented that it has not moved in 72 hours. So now when they came out on the 26th, or they got called on the 26th, they came out first on the 27th. That happened to be Labor Day weekend. So, you know, it wasn't until the 3rd, until Labor Day was over, they came out the second time. But by ordinance here in LA County, and I do very familiar with this because I live in the area, you know, you have to move within 72 hours. If it's called in as abandoned, it has to also have other factors, such as it appears to be abandoned. If this car was clean, it wouldn't have been towed.
Yeah, the fact that, you know, the first call came in and 8 days later it was towed. Each time they came out and established the 72-hour rule and had those 3 that they have to have. Did the neighbors that you talked to say anything else about, other than, yeah, it's been here for about a month? Did anybody say it smelled?
Not that I talked to. I know that I've seen reports of somebody, but not that I talked to. However, the street that it's on, and I don't know if this was done on purpose or not, but the street, Bluebird, is just this little street with about 6 houses on it. It kind of makes a semicircle that wraps from one end of Doheny and meets back up with Doheny. So it's not a super traveled street. Now Doheny is, so you drive by it, but where it was is kind of like a strategic area where there's only, you see that road right there wraps around to the right, and then it connects again to the main road. So there's not too many people that will walk by, and these hedges on this house are so high that it really takes out people walking on the other side of the vehicle. So I don't know if it was actually done strategically, but if you're going to leave it somewhere else, it's as good a place to leave it as any.
Well, the curious thing is, listen, this is a sort of a weird topic, but I have a septic field and a septic system, and I've grown up that way. And I know that when the winds shift, it doesn't matter what kind of hedge is nearby. It doesn't matter if it's 30 feet away. You can smell those odors. And I'm just wondering if anybody on the other side of the hedge or across the street, or, you know, or within, say, 50 feet of where that car was parked, had noticed that smell and wondered what it was. Because I believe the only report we had about that car was that somebody thought a dead animal was nearby.
Yeah, and I'll bet you now, in hindsight, they might. But I think that, you know, without this happening, you walk by a car, it's the last thing you think is that somebody's in the trunk, you know, deceased. And so you probably chalk it up to a bunch of other things, like I said, a sewer line broke. I mean, it's LA, stuff like this happens a lot. I'm talking about.
Hi, Onyx. Good morning. Good morning. This is a sad story, and he is a weirdo. Just even for, listen. The whole thing is just super uber weird. Super duper weird, okay? It is. And it has a lot of information to it. Let's see. Let's check out another piece here that adds to this story. It is crazy. gonna listen to. We're about to listen to a compilation, a video that was done by a YouTuber by the name of Deleted Villain. He does great videos. Check him out. I'll link his video down in the description after the video. I'll link his channel. But he's great. But yeah, he did a great layout on this. And the name of his video is "She Was His Muse." And once you look at, follow his timeline, right? And the songs he made, the things he was doing, it does very much so seems like he was operating like I mean, the super ultra Hollywood weirdo, like energy sucking vampire, like you know what I mean? Like he's feeding off of this person, and it's just really weird. And for her to end up, you know, not with us anymore, is just really sad and unfortunate. And this whole case is very sad and unfortunate. And the fact that he's still probably somewhere, or whoever did it, actually, since there is not only him, because I don't want to say that. It absolutely is. This case is so weird, but we have to remember you're innocent until you're proven guilty. And people, you know, stranger things have happened. You know, some people say it's a setup. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I do know it's weird. I do know that it's inappropriate for David to have any type of private relationship with Celeste, considering her age. And I do know that it is confirmed that he did have contact with this young lady, right? He was presenting her as his girlfriend, possibly assisted her with getting a fake ID to be, and that she was in spaces that you needed to be 18 or older to be in, and she was there frequently. I do know that. So at the very least, there were some fishy things going on with the situation, right? So anyway, this guy is talking about how you know she was his muse, and just put a little thing together to kind of simplify and maybe make a little bit easier what is happening in this story. And I think he did a great job. So I want to just highlight some of his video. We're not going to play all of it, but I want to review some of it because it's a really good video. Here we go. Oh, yikes. I can't hear it. Why? The audio, you can't hear it. Let's see. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know why you can't hear it, though. Let me look. Uh-oh. I just got an email. Hold on one second. Let me check. Okay. I don't know why it's not playing though. Hold on. Let me see. Do I got it?
Tour for a month.
Do I got it? Let me see. I'm gonna have to.
Tour for a month.
Let me see. I'm gonna have to. Nope. Okay. Dang. Did y'all hear? Did y'all hear the other part? Oh Lord, I am horrible at this.
Video that was done by a YouTuber by the name of Deleted Villain. Good morning, Sagittarius Queen. Hey, honey. Girl, I've been trying. Right before the cars, and right after the car starts getting kicked.
Hold on, I'm trying to see.
Where is your girlfriend? Legal team.
Like if there was, if it appears from the video.
Okay, you could hear that one.
Because I've seen people.
I don't know why this one.
Not having
Let me see.
actual.
Okay. All right, let me check. I don't know why the sound's not coming through on this one. What did I do wrong? Let me unshare it. Uh-oh. I don't know what I just did. Thanks. Okay, now I'm gonna try to play again. Let's see.
The child barely entering her teenage years. That isn't harmless. That's grooming. A slow creeping process, turning trust into control, turning admiration into submission. And no
Celeste Hernandez was on 2 streams through Discord already, and that's probably one of
was the spark. From there, the alleged connection grew, twisted into something it was never supposed to be. And the most haunting part, it all happened in places that seemed harmless, but are known to be very dark. Discord servers, Instagram DMs, fan communities, spaces that feel safe because they're online. But those places are hunting grounds. Predators hide there. They don't always have to chase. They wait in the dark, smiling until a child wanders too close. Accounts from Discord servers allegedly show a disturbing pattern. Conversations that started out looking harmless, fan to artist, supporter to celebrity, they blurred into something more personal, almost romantic. At least that's what it seemed. There were times where the chats read like he and Celeste were already together. The way they spoke carried a hidden code, messages that the group chat seemed to understand.
And now David's Discord moderators are deleting everything in the Discord server. But honestly, I don't think they're that smart, and I don't think they've ever read the rules of Discord, because Discord can download all of that information. But in my opinion, I'm pretty sure the police probably have already been through Discord already, and that's probably one of the reasons why they were able to get a search warrant for the residence that David was living at. Mind you, one of the things that they took out of the home was the computer. Some of these moderators are trying anyway. They were literally talking about purging his Discord, deleting messages, and even deleting pictures throughout the day yesterday. And I mean, at this point, we know exactly why they're trying to purge this Discord, because they were trying to get rid of the information that people were literally exposing him a whole year ago when it came to Celeste Hernandez. I mean, people were calling her out by her whole entire name in this Discord chat to David. I'm sure that the statement from the Discord and Twitch staff confirming that Celeste Hernandez was on 2 streams with David really started getting them shook. But they claimed that they did not know that she was missing, and they thought that she was around 18 to 19 years old. People have went so far into David's Discord before this purge started happening that they were finding stuff like this, like a comment from that deleted user that a lot of people believe is Celeste, that posted a picture wearing a ring and a tattoo on one of her fingers saying David. This chat on David's Discord, this is a person says happy birthday, and it's to deleted user, and the date is 9/07/2022, and they say thanks babe. We know 9/07 is Celeste's birthday. And people in David's Discord have even alleged more, that it was more than just Celeste that David was allegedly talking to that was underage.
To To outsiders, it might have just looked like strange or cryptic talk, but inside that circle, it meant something more. A teenager in the public eye with growing fame, building a connection with a child barely entering her teenage years. That isn't harmless. That's grooming. A slow creeping process, turning trust into control, turning admiration into submission. And nobody seemed to stop it. If that server was filled with mostly kids, then of course nobody's going to step in. There were no adults to recognize what was happening. No one to shut it down. Just silence. And silence let it grow. He manipulated her, pulled her in, and convinced her to leave everything behind for him. That's what it seems. All alleged, all speculation. While all this was going on, his music was drowning in death. Coffins and the visuals, lyrics about homicide. He even spoke about his alter ego, Atami, the Japanese word for pain.
There is like this character that's blindfolded. Atami? That's Japanese for pain. Atami is the villain of this album. He's the one that's making me withered and feel these emotions like grief and pain and confusion. He's the one that's weaving his way into my relationships and ruining them and inducing trauma and things like that. You see him in the music videos and stuff. He's basically the agent of chaos in this scenario.
Atami, he said, was the part of him that committed the crimes, while the real him came in after, cleaning up the mess. But with David, the art just doesn't feel like art. It feels like confession, hidden in a metaphor, like blueprints wrapped in poetry, a split self where one side holds guilt and the other claims innocence. And while that image spread through his songs, Celeste was allegedly getting closer. Now let me make something clear. There's nothing wrong with liking dark or edgy things. I mean, look at me. I'm a horror fanatic myself. Y'all know that. I love scary movies, creepy gameplays, the fall season, Halloween, everything that comes with it. Like right now, this is my season. I'm turning up right now. I love fall. I love Halloween. Some people love action. Some people love comedy. Me, I was always drawn to the scary movies. I even love music with darker edges. Rappers like Immortal Technique, the Queen of the Damn soundtrack, old Tyler the Creator tracks, even heavy metal like Marilyn Manson. Because there's nothing wrong with loving that kind of aesthetic. It's a thrill. But when that line blurs, when horror stops, every time I say horror, it's crazy. I'm not saying horror. Shut up. But when that line blurs and when horror stops being inspiration and starts becoming your identity, that's when art turns into something far more sinister. And here's the thing. A fan like me can watch Michael Myers or Candyman and love the adrenaline rush from it. But you're not going to see me walk around believing that I am them. That's where it gets weird. That's where it gets twisted. It's one thing to enjoy the edgy, the dark, the morbid, the horror driven. But when someone stops being a fan of it and starts becoming it, that's when fandom rots into something sick and sinister and just all around weird. You're a weirdo. And I've said this before on my channel. One day I want to own a studio and create indie horror films. That's not just a dream. That's reality waiting to happen. It's going to happen. I honestly can't wait to just show people my vision and scare the fuck out of people. The same way these directors scared the fuck out of me. But again, it all comes back to that line. Admiring the art form, loving the thrill, that's fine. The danger comes when someone look at these dark figures, not as characters, not as creations, but as role models. That's when admiration mutates into obsession. And obsession left unchecked becomes horror in real life. And like I said, you're just a weirdo, because what the fuck? It's make-believe. Why the fuck you over here becoming the character for it?
Oh, and another thing, arrest whoever the fuck did the tattoos for Celeste. Arrest them, right? Arrest them if it was a regular tattoo shop that she walked into and they gave no fucks that she was a minor and didn't have an adult. Arrest that person if it was a private tattoo artist that came to David's crib and made an exception because he's an artist. Arrest whoever the fuck came in contact with that girl while she was under the care of David. There is too many people involved, and there are too many people that need to be held accountable for this young girl's death. Period, point blank. It's not just David, if he's guilty, allegedly. There are a lot of other people who knew exactly what was going on and didn't do a damn thing to stop it and
I agree.
to protect this girl. Bring them to the front.
And allegedly, Celeste had David tattooed on her finger.
Yeah.
Some reports say she had the word inked on her fingers too. I'm honestly kind of confused because
that part, okay? Like, where were the rest of the people? Wait, is my mic connected? Where was the rest of the people that they were around? They were not like in this bubble completely. She got tattoos. They get matching tattoos. There was a story that came out where a guy had said that they were at a party. So one of his friends was at a party and they had a tattoo artist there. And David was trying to get them to put a butterfly behind her ear, but the lady wouldn't do it because obviously she looked young and she didn't have any ID. And also, I think the tattoo artist had heard from another person that was at a previous party that she was a minor. You know what I'm saying? So there were like rumblings within the group, even the social group of money offline. Now in the little gaming community, talking about since he had gotten Hollywood, got money, started having these little parties, with other younger people. There was grumblings within that. And what about his manager, his parents, like anybody? I'm with this girl. Bring your ass here. Come on to the front. We got some questions. I got some questions. Definitely got some questions. And it's just weird to have these, like horror and creating that type of thing and liking horror films and stuff like that is like one thing, but like trying to literally assume split personalities, is just a whole nother level of thing. And a lot of times you get this split and now we have something really horrible that's happened And everybody has all these questions. It's too many questions and not enough answers for my liking. Okay? Anyway, but here
it's not really clear if she carried both or if what's being implied is something even darker. That her tattoo read David, while his, on his fingers, read shh, almost like she was branded as a secret and he carried the command to keep it hidden. Either way, this was a child carrying silence on her skin. This wasn't a playful design. It looked like a warning, a secret carved into her body, especially if the reports are true. And she really did.
Look at the pictures of this little girl. If you see the pictures that just flashed, look, and even look at her face now. She looks very, very young. She doesn't give 19-year-old college student to me at all. Like, she just was turning 15. So a year ago, she would have been 13 something, just turning 14. And then in January, when she ran away, she would have been what, 4? No. Oh my. She was 14. She was 13. 12 turning 13. Right? Oh my God. Yeah, that's very young. And she looks young. Like she, to me, she's not giving grown up, like, you know, like she has lashes, like she's going out of her way to look overly grown and not like a child. She clearly looks like a child. It's crazy. Ugh.
Did wear the ink as well. David had the same word on his own hand, the same mark, that same whisper etched into his flesh. Two people connected by one chilling message. Don't speak. I mean, at that point, it's not coincidence. That feels like a pact. And the word itself, the SHH, shush, it's terrifying. It's chilling. It gives you that weird, eerie feeling. It's the sound used to choke words down, to bury truths before they can breathe them. It doesn't look like something innocent. It just doesn't. It looks like a command, a warning, a mark that silence was expected. Because what I see, it doesn't just say quiet, it says never tell. And that's fucked up because she never made it to 15. She's a child. That's someone's baby girl. That's someone's daughter. Celeste was allegedly found dismembered inside the frunk of a Tesla registered to him. 14 years old. The car became something else entirely. It was a silent tomb hidden in plain sight. Neighbors had already felt it. The dented body of the car, abandoned near where he was staying. It lingered like a bad omen. They knew something was wrong before the front was even open. And when the tow company finally called police and that hood was lifted, what they saw was worse than anything that they could even imagine. And her cause of death is still unknown. Celeste's body was sealed inside a bag, rotting, decomposing in the California heat. The smell of death trapped in metal. A child's final moments erased, leaving behind only fragments. The coroner's full report has yet to be made public, but what's already known is enough to chill anyone. And when the news broke, the cancellations of David's tour were immediate, and we have yet to hear anything from him or his camp. And that silence is loud as hell. And here's where it becomes unbearable. Celeste's birthday is September 7th, the day before her body was found. David's breakout single, Romantic Homicide, was released on September 7th. A song about death, about killing love, forever stamped on the same day she was born. Coincidence, maybe. But when a girl you once knew as a child dies dismembered days before that same birthday, the timing feels ritualistic. And it's the fact that they met around this time, September 2022. She would have only been turning 12 years old. And there's messages that links David to her as young as 11. It's pretty sick. The silence kind of makes him look guilty, in my opinion. After all of this, you've known this girl since she was around 11 years old. She's always around you. If you had no involvement, then why? There's no denial, no statements, no explanation. You're just absent, especially for an artist who built his brand on pouring emotion into the world. Sometimes silence is louder than words. Silence can become its own confession. Everything is circling back to the persona of Atami, a split self where one side commits to violence and the other side absolves it. Pain as identity, silence as pact, death as art. The coffin imagery, the tattoos, the lyrics, the Discord chats, the attempt to allegedly date an underage girl, the body in the front. The threads overlap until they don't look like threads anymore. They look like a noose.
Allegedly, Celeste said that she was giving birth to David's child in March of 2025. In the chat above it, you can see Ella said, yeah, David's pregnant. This is the same deleted user, and the other picture that was posted on this account was the ring finger tattoo of David wearing a ring.
There are rumors that Celeste might have been pregnant, and that's why David allegedly wanted to get rid of her. He wouldn't want anybody to find out that he was involved with someone so young, that he felt trapped, maybe panicked. However, no official proof exists. The coroner has not stated that the victim was pregnant, and until the autopsy report is released, that detail remains as a rumor, circulating in text and chat screenshots. If she had been pregnant, you would expect the coroner's report to show it, but we don't have that confirmation yet. All of this forces the same awful questions. What happened in those last hours? Was it an argument that escalated? Was there jealousy? Was it an accident that spun into panic? Or the darkest possibility, was it deliberate, with the motive tied to a secrecy of fear? You got some people pointing to his tour schedule and say he couldn't have been involved at all, saying that he has an alibi, he was gone. Others claim she may have lied about her age. But then there's the Discord messages and clips that make it look like he knew the whole entire time. How could he not know? I mean, some of the pictures I've seen of her, she looks like a child. She looks young. I don't see how he couldn't know she was young. She looks like a little girl. How do you prove which version is true? Is the person in those chats even her? Could screenshots be faked? It's just a rabbit hole of possibilities. And that's what makes this so terrible. terrifying. Every path leads to more questions. Everybody's playing detective, trying to map her final hours. What were her last thoughts? Who was with her? Was there motive or none at all? But y'all gotta realize, predators don't always need a reason beyond the impulse to hurt. Maybe there was a motive, but maybe there wasn't. We don't know yet, and it really don't matter. The facts are still being collected though. And whatever the explanation, the darkness of this case just feels different. It feels closer to home. It feels colder, and it's not something the internet can untangle alone. And it all boils down to the same question that everybody keeps asking: why hasn't David been arrested? And the truth is, people don't really understand how the justice system works. It's obvious. I mean, some of y'all didn't grow up on First 48 or something, didn't watch true crime. I mean, or ask questions, do some research, shit. Because you got to understand, the whole point of the justice system is to make sure an innocent person doesn't get locked up without proof. Now, does that always happen? Of course not. Plenty of innocent people get shitted on, get thrown in the jail cell, locked up for nothing. They didn't do nothing. But legally, it comes down to evidence, lawyers, and juries. Innocent until proven guilty. As of right now, as I make this video. So if you watch this tomorrow and evidence pop up, shut the fuck up. As I make this video right now, there is no hard evidence, no DNA under fingernails that ties back to him, no blood that proves his involvement, no photos, no video footages of him doing anything malicious, nothing solid in the public record. And yeah, everything looks suspicious as hell. The car, the timing, the relationship, the house, but suspicion isn't evidence. Y'all can't convict somebody just because it looked bad. You need facts, because without them, police risk letting a guilty man walk free if they move too early. They can't hold a potential suspect.
And that's the frustrating part sometimes, right? You can't let it, they can't move too fast. The public outcry is, why isn't he locked up? He needs to be locked up. He needs to be locked up. And I'm sure that, you know, the police are working on that, but they need to get a rock solid case, okay? One last thing I want to show before we get off here, that I found. I thought this was interesting. Of course, I'm going to be continuing to watch this case. It's very interesting. I'll try to bring you guys any more updates that I believe. But this one I found was interesting, right? Because a lot of people were coming out when I first heard this story, and they were like getting on her family. Where's her mom? And why didn't, you know, her mom, like the family must be trash, or maybe they're in on it, or like, because why wasn't they looking for her? And like, I personally, maybe a lot of people don't have experience with a lot of things in life. I personally, like, can see a situation like that. I've known of. I've never been a runaway. None of my kids have ran away. However, I've known of runaways. Like, and I know how that situation goes. And when a person is, especially a young person, or anybody for that matter, when you're determined to do something, you can do it. Especially when the law is not on your side, on the family side. So they had posters. They had reported her twice. And then this other thing comes out where the liquor store owner said that her sister actually had came questioning and asking even for footage, you know, of her being up there and trying to see where she went, you know, and that could have been possibly to give to the police. So that lends credence, to the fact that the family was indeed, you know, trying to find her. And that they did love her. And I hate that people even insinuate that, because, you know, family dynamics are complicated. But most of the time we do know that people do love their children. But when you have a unruly teenage situation, it's hard to navigate. And you can't hold anybody hostage, even your child, right? So you got to do the best you can. But here's an article. Wait a minute. I gotta try to get it up. Hold on. I had the video. All right, I was trying to pull up this other video, this last video. My computer's slowing down. It's probably tired. Like, girl. Look, I barely got my webcam hooked up. Anyway, I can read it in case the video part doesn't come up. It says, David, liquor store footage of Celeste Rivas Hernandez comes to light. So apparently, there, like a corner store, the last known footage of Celeste Rivas Hernandez was captured prior to her disappearance in 2024, but it has now been uncovered. TMZ obtained a 78-second clip of Hernandez from a California liquor store, Del Lago Spirits. The footage was dated March the 19th, 2024. Begins around 7 a.m. and shows what appears to be the teen in a black hoodie and white pants jogging down a street. And I guess they're insinuating that she, a separate angle shows her alternating between a walk and a run before she disappears from the frame. According to TMZ, the owner of the store, Eli Nadaf, claims that Hernandez's sister came there that same day and requested to review surveillance footage to see if she had run away. Per the outlet, Nadif claimed that he gave the footage to her family in hopes that it would assist them in locating where she went, and that this was her second time running away from home. Unfortunately, Hernandez's remains were found earlier this month in a towed Tesla registered to singer David. In the time since, speculation about the nature of the relationship has unfolded due to pictures and Discord messages. Okay, so the latest suspected sighting of Hernandez prior to this was at a David show in Maryland last month. Video from the concert showed a female figure who people believe to be Hernandez, though some alleged that it wasn't her. On September the 17th, police executed a search warrant on the home where they were staying, allegedly. So, months before, this is the eerie part of this whole case, right? Especially depending on when she actually became deceased, and that's going to be the key. I am just really curious to see how close they're going to be able to get to that, because not only, you know, for evidence wise, but also to see, like, man, like, did he have a premonition? Did he kind of plan this out? Because a couple months before this, David had a song called One More Dance, and it actually featured him dragging a bloody body, and that was being like stuffed into the trunk of a car. And then in his song Romantic Homicide, the singer also suggested that he had a murderous alter ego named Emo, I believe. Since the discovery, David has canceled his tour and stepped back from the spotlight. Like, I think he had a lot of brand deals that he were about to go through that just like got smashed. So, yeah. So I'm gonna stay tuned and see how this story unfolds. I thought all of that was interesting. I wanted to go over it, and so I was like, let me just do a little quick video, share some things with you guys. I don't know if you guys are following the story. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, and if they have any more updates as footage comes on, you know, I'll come on and update you guys about it. Yes. So thank you, Sagittarius Queen, my moderator, for being in the chat. I think Onyx was in here. Thank you guys for viewing the video. I'm gonna go ahead and probably get some breakfast. I've been good. Girl, listen, life has been life, and it's been a whole mess, but I've been good. My husband, girl, like what, about 2 weeks ago, he was in the hospital. He fell, cracked his ribs. He currently has 3 broken. I think it's been about 2 weeks. He was in the hospital. He's home now, and he's up walking and things, but he's in a lot of pain because his ribs, of course, are still broke, girl. And he punctured his lung. He had a concussion, the whole 9. But he survived, and he's doing a lot better. I keep telling him to sit down and, you know, chill out, just so let your body heal. But I think he's so afraid he's gonna become disabled, honey. He won't. He's like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and he's like, oh, you know, in a lot of pain. And so, oh, you did? Oh my God, how are you? listen, y'all got to be careful, girl. Life is, and I'm praying for you as well. Life is tragic. I actually just this morning, right before I was getting ready to go live, 8:15 come, and I get a phone call, and it was a friend of mine passed away last night. I don't know how yet because it was somebody else telling me, and then I started this live, so I had checked. I don't really know how she died. But it's crazy, right? And especially when you start to question your own mortality, because we're all getting older and things are happening. I pray. Listen, I pray for everybody. Y'all pray for my family until we meet again. Thanks you guys for viewing the video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later on. Peace.